Sometimes life hits you with something so wild. You question if it's real, or if you finally lost it, like that one night in my little house in Willow Creek, Montana, when I swear the room lit up with this strange glow, and a voice, clear as day, whispered my name, Mike, like it was pulling me out of some deep sleep I'd been stuck in for years. I was just your average guy back then, pushing 40, working a dead-end job at the local hardware store, dealing with the usual crap bills piling up, my marriage to Sarah on the rocks after too many arguments about nothing, and this nagging feeling that I was meant for more, but too scared to chase it. But that whisper? It wasn't just in my head. It shook me to my core, like the universe had bent over backwards to make sure I heard it right then, and man, did it flip my world upside down. Let me back up a bit. Growing up in Willow Creek wasn't exactly a fairy tale. It's one of those small towns where everyone knows your business, and if you don't fit the mold, they make sure you feel it. My dad was a miner, gone most days, and Mom raised me and my sister on scraps, always telling us to keep our heads down, don't rock the boat. But even as a kid, I felt different, Like there was this pull inside me, a spark that wouldn't quit, but life kept throwing water on it. School bullies calling me weird for reading books about angels and ancient stories instead of playing football. Then later, losing my first job because I spoke up about some shady safety stuff at the mill. By the time I hit 30, I'd buried that spark deep. Sarah and I bought a fixer-upper on the edge of town, had our boy Tommy, and I figured that was it. Ordinary life, ordinary guy, nothing special. But the tears? Oh, they came in waves, silent ones in the middle of the night when Sarah was asleep, wondering why betrayal after betrayal, like my best friend from high school, Jack, who borrowed money for his business and never paid it back, leaving us scraping bywhy. It all felt so personal, so heavy, like I was carrying a weight no one else could see. And that's when the enemy started whispering to not some cartoon devil, but this sly voice in my head, or sometimes through people around me, convincing me I was replaceable, that my prayers were just echoes bouncing off the ceiling. Take my neighbor, old Mr. Harlan was like the town's unofficial HOA enforcer, always nitpicking about my yard, saying it brought down property values. But really, I think he was jealous because our lot had this beautiful view of the mountains, something he'd wanted for years. One day, he corners me at the fence, his face all red and twisted. Mike, you're nothing but a dreamer, always talking big about changing things. Who do you think you are? Sell me that strip of land, or I'll make sure the town council hears about your violations. It stung, man, because deep down, I believed him. I was ordinary, forgotten, just one more soul in the crowd. But then, that night with the whisper, it was like heaven had had enough, bending time just for me, calling my name loud enough to drown out the noise. I paused there in the dark, heart pounding, thinking, is this it? Am I losing my mind, or is something bigger at play? Turns out, it was the start of everything. The angels, or whatever you want to call them, had been dispatched, not tomorrow, not someday, but right then. I started noticing little things, a car accident I should have been in but missed because I took a different road on a hunch, a random call from an old friend offering a job that pulled us out of debt just in time. Coincidences? Nah, that was heaven's hand. Evidence my name had been echoed in some eternal court long before I got it. But with that came the responsibility. No more running, no more delays. The mantle fell on my shoulders, heavy but unbreakable, and I had to wear it with honor. The enemy, that voice, that doubt, embodied in folks like Harlan, knew it. And boy, did he ramp up the terror. Why me? I'd ask myself in those quiet moments, staring at the ceiling while Sarah slept. Why all this suffering, this weight? The answer hit me slow, like dawn creeping over the hills, because heaven trusted me with it. The pain birthed power, the struggles formed strength, the rejections pushed me out of the ordinary into something extraordinary. I wasn't here to blend in. I was here to disrupt, to shift the air when I walked into a room. Like that time at the town meeting, when Harlan was pushing to rezone our land for his buddy's development. Greed, pure and simple, manipulating the HOA rules to grab power. And I stood up, voice shaking at first. Harlan, you've been twisting these rules for years, bullying folks like me because you can't stand seeing someone hold on to what's theirs. But this isn't just about land. It's about right and wrong, and I'm done letting you win. The room went silent. His eyes narrowed, spitting back. You think you're some hero, Mike? You're just a fool with big ideas. We'll see who laughs last. It was Kitch 10, almost like a movie scene, the tension thick, me feeling the spark ignite, chains trembling as I spoke truth. But here's where it gets real. That inner voice, the one I'd tried to silence, turned from a whisper to a shout, thundering in my chest, urging me to arise, shine, because the glory was rising. I felt unsettled, restless, waking up in sweats, knowing the time for delay was over. Ignored whispers in the past had cost me missed opportunities, broken relationships, but now, the shout was unmistakable, heaven's urgency shaking me awake. Angels weren't just stories, they were guardians, moving on my behalf. Remember that near miss with the storm that took down half the neighborhood? Our house spared, while Harlan's fence got wrecked. Not luck, intervention. See, the voice said, I'm sending angels ahead to guard you, to bring you to the place I've prepared. It wasn't casual, it was confirmation. My life carried weight, surrounded by unseen armies. Of course, carrying that light? It's exhausting, like a lamp burning oil, needing constant fuel. Darkness recoils, but it fights back hard. Harlan amped up his game, spreading rumors at the bar. Mike's gone off the deep end, talking about divine calls, probably just dodging his debts. It hurt, made me doubt, but then I'd remember the scroll. I started reading old texts, feeling like my name was inscribed somewhere eternal, unerasable. Biblical stuff, like before I was formed, I was known, set apart. That fueled me, turned pain into preparation. The valleys I'd walked, losing my dad young, Sarah's miscarriage that nearly broke us, weren't punishment. They were training grounds, forging resilience, teaching me endurance when others crumbled. Delay became my biggest enemy. How long would I waver? Harlan pushed harder, filing complaints with the town, trying to force a sale, his motive clear, jealousy over my lucky lot, mixed with his control freak ways, thinking he ran the whole community. But heaven said no more. The shout demanded action. I chose surrender, bowing to something bigger, and that's when the reaction came, unexpected, like a plot twist. I dug into records, found proof of his manipulations, fake signatures on HOA docs, backroom deals, and confronted him privately. First, Harlan, I know what you've been doing, twisting things for your gain, but this ends now. Hand over the real papers, or the whole town sees. He laughed at first, mocking you? Expose me? You're nobody, go ahead, try. But his voice cracked, fear slipping through, and in that moment, I felt angels flanking me, the light terrifying his shadows. The climax hit at the next meeting. I stood with evidence in hand, voice steady now, laying it all out while he squirmed, face paling as neighbors gasped. This isn't just about me, I said. It's about all of us. Been playing us for years, grabbing power because he couldn't stand sharing it. Harlan exploded. Lies. You're the one causing trouble. Mike, always thinking you're special. But the room turned. Folks I'd helped quietly over the years spoke up, one by one, breaking his hold. It was electric, cinematic, chairs scraping, voices rising, him storming out defeated, the air shifting as chains broke. We won. The HOA reformed, land stayed ours, and I felt that crown, not literal, but this sense of authority, righteousness awarded after the fight. But here's the thing that still nags at me: is it all divine, or just coincidence mixed with grit? Harlan slunk away, but the community split. Some hailed me as a hero, others whispered I overstepped, stirring up old grudges, questioning if justice was served or if I just got lucky. Publicly, peace returned, but privately, doubts lingered. Did heaven really call, or was it my own fire? It leaves you wondering about right and wrong in these tight-knit places, where personal beefs tangle with bigger forces. What do you think? Was I right to fight back, or should I have let it go? Drop a comment below with your take on justice, community conflicts, or if you've faced something similar. Share this if it resonates, and hit subscribe to hear more real stories like mine. Let's talk it out. Your thoughts could spark something big.